How do bees survive the winter? Thank you, Brennan. So here's what bees do. Did you already ask me this in another one? I don't think so. It's been a while. So bees, like in the summer, in their full. I was hoping you guys would ask me a scuba diving question. I had some great dives at Bonne Terre Mine in Bonne Terre, Missouri. Did you know that Bonne Terre Mine gets accolades all the time about being one of the best scuba diving destinations in the United States? We were just in a Condé Nast Travel magazine of one of the top 6 diving locations in the U.S. During this pandemic, a destination dive thing. We get people from, let's see, on Saturday, I had people from Oklahoma and Tennessee and Connecticut. I literally had people from all those places drove in to dive with us. It's a special place. It's a gem in Missouri. People don't realize it's always named one of the top destinations in Missouri. I can if we can put that link up. If anybody's listening, it was in my last email newsletter from yesterday, the Condé Nast article. But message me on Facebook or whatever. If you ever want to go scuba diving with me, I'd be happy to take you out. Back to my question from Brennan, excuse me, I misspoke. Brennan, how do bees survive the winter? The way bees survive the winter is they decrease their population. So bees, in the summer, a bee is going to live between 25 and 35 days, a worker bee, a female worker bee. In the winter, a bee is going to live like 100 days, 150 days, 125 days. So they're going to live longer over the winter. And what they do is they all get in a ball around the queen, and they have all the honey or the sugar and the different food they've stored in the wax, and they sit around there and they stay together for warmth. And they also vibrate. They shake their wings and they vibrate, and that vibration creates warmth and heat. So today, this morning, if it's 30 degrees outside, it's going to be 80 degrees in the hive, in that ball. So they keep it hot. They do this in Minnesota and up in Canada. They do this in Missouri. Now down south, they don't have to worry about it anymore. But basically, that's one of the things that honey does, is it gives them food so that they can hang out around the queen and keep her warm all winter. And then when spring comes, the queen knows, and she looks at how much space she has in her hive, and she starts laying more brood or more eggs in brood. And then she produces more bees, and the population of the hive goes from 500 or 1,000 or whatever it is, 500 back up to the thousands and thousands and thousands of range. And then they produce more honey. When we take honey from a hive, and we did a harvest, I had a good harvest this year. 2020 was a bad year for a lot of other people. Most everybody else. It was a great year for bees. 2020 was a great year for bees. Just seeing, I don't know, there's a lot of pollen, a lot of nectar flow. It was very wet this year. We had a lot of water. They had plenty to drink, plenty to eat. It seemed like a good year. When we take the excess honey, but we still leave them enough, and we lift and we weigh and feel how heavy the boxes are to make sure they have enough food for winter. And then I feed them a sugar water concoction, which simulates honey, to give them sugar and water and other nutrients to drink of over the winter. And then lastly, and I know this is a long answer, but I'm not getting a lot of questions, so I have to go longer. I put these sugar boards on the top of a hive. So about January, they're called candy boards. And you take a bunch of candy, you melt it, you put it in a frame that fits exactly on the top of the hive, and you give the bees a bunch of sugar to last them through the end of December into the first couple of weeks of March.